Welcome to Key Tech. Please describe this channel if you are interested in today's video. TSMC has been accelerating the construction of factories in the United States in recent years. Judging from the current news, it has invested approximately $65 billion in building factories in the United States. It is expected to build 3 advanced process chip foundries, namely one each for 4 nanometers, 3 nanometers, and 2 nanometers processes. However, the outside world has not been optimistic about TSMC's move to build a factory in the United States. The reasons are very complicated, including the cost of building the factory, market influence, bargaining power, and other aspects. But in fact, the problems faced by TSMC in building factories in the United States are far more than that. Just a few days ago, many foreign media reported on a major accident at a chip factory in Arizona. According to local media reports, not only did an explosion occur at the factory, but it also resulted in the death of one person. This once again allowing TSMC to build factories in the United States has become a key topic of discussion in the industry. The incident itself was actually not complicated. An abnormality occurred during the transportation of the outsourced tank truck transporting waste sulfuric acid. The driver exploded when he got out of the vehicle for inspection. The driver eventually ended up in the hospital due to serious injuries. Rather than cure death, the Arizona Construction and Labor Council has also issued a relevant statement confirming the credibility of this matter. In fact, this is not the first safety incident at TSMC's Arizona factory. In 2023, a fire alarm occurred at the factory, and flames appeared in the garbage pipes outside the factory. However, this accident did not cause too big an impact. In fact, the accidents that occurred during the construction and early trial operation of the U.S. factory are just a microcosm of the problems TSMC encountered when building factories in the United States. In addition to the issues such as factory construction costs mentioned earlier, TSMC also faces a series of problems such as salary issues, skin color issues, factory layout, and lack of sufficient technical personnel during inspections in the United States. The biggest reason why TSMC has always placed its advanced process factories locally is the cost of building the factory, but there are also other influencing factors, such as technical personnel and equipment issues. It is precisely for this reason that TSMC's external factories are mainly based on mature processes. Unless there are considerable subsidies, it will rarely build advanced chip factories outside. When TSMC invested and built factories in the United States, it was initially agreed to provide subsidies. However, the United States later revised the subsidy rules, resulting in TSMC not receiving subsidies for its initial investment of $40 billion in building factories. After TSMC added 2 nanometers process chip factories, it received $6.6 billion in subsidies and $5 billion in low-cost funds from the United States. However, although the cost of building a factory has been reduced due to subsidies, the problem of technical personnel has not been solved. Since the chip manufacturing industry in the United States has gradually moved to Asia since the 1980s, the United States is actually relatively short of relevant technical talents. This resulted in TSMC having to dispatch technical talents from its headquarters to the U.S. factory. However, it is certainly impossible for an entire factory to rely solely on the technical talents sent by TSMC's headquarters. It also needs to recruit some employees from the United States. Previously, there was news of employee strikes at TSMC's factories in the United States. The reason is that American employees cannot accept the overtime culture and are only willing to work 8 hours a day. This is not a problem, but for TSMC, this means the need to recruit more technical talents, and it also makes management more difficult. The improvement is equivalent to increasing operating costs in many aspects. This caused TSMC to be very embarrassed in this regard, but it also encountered pressure from American labor unions. In the end, this matter also gave TSMC a headache. No matter what problems are encountered in building factories in the United States, the final manifestations are actually reduced production capacity and increased costs. Originally, this was not a big problem for TSMC. After all, it is difficult to make money by investing in and building factories in the United States. TSMC's main goal of building factories in the United States is to get orders from US core companies, and it is not particularly expected. How much profit can these factories make, as long as they don't lose money? However, now that the global chip industry chain is accelerating, Samsung and Intel are developing rapidly in advanced processes, and Chinese chip manufacturers have gradually entered the field of advanced process chips. TSMC's competitive pressure in this area has increased a lot. To put it simply, it is actually difficult for TSMC to ask for prices as casually as before. TSMC's monopoly in advanced manufacturing technology has been broken, further reducing the expected benefits of TSMC's establishment of factories in the United States, and the large amount of investment funds has also made TSMC trapped. After all, the investment of $65 billion is quite considerable for TSMC. So the expenses for several years totaled up. Judging from the current situation, it is probably not a good thing for TSMC to build a factory in the United States. After all, it is a loss-making business, not to mention that after building a factory in the United States, it is equivalent to being seized by the United States. If TSMC, contrary to the opinions of the United States, the situation of these American factories will only get worse. It is no wonder that even many foreign media are not optimistic about TSMC's move to build factories in the United States. The United States has attracted TSMC to invest in building factories and has given tens of billions of dollars in subsidies. It has its own agenda and wants to relocate high-end chip manufacturing back. However, judging from the current situation, there are also many conflicts between TSMC and the United States. It is not easy to say whether both parties can get what they want. If you agree, please like it, welcome to repost, leave a message and share it.